Welcome back to Entertainment Talk. Today I want to talk about Netflix's and ABC's first season of, or mini-series, sorry, of Stateless. It's a mini or limited series which is Stateless is an Australian television series based on, launched on ABC on the 1st of March 2020. Not the American ABC though. This is ABC is a national public television network in Australia. So it's got the same name as the Disney-owned American channel, but it's the Australian version. The series is partly inspired by the real-life story of Cornelia Rao, an Australian permanent resident who was unlawfully detained under the Australian government mandatory detention program. So it's based on or inspired by real events. Let's just go through the synopsis. The series centres on four strangers in an immigration detention centre in the Australian desert, an airline hostess escaping a suburban cult, an Afghan refugee fleeing persecution, a young Australian father escaping a dead-end job, and a bureaucrat caught up in a national scandal. When their lives intersect, they are pushed to the brink of the sanity, and yet unlikely and profound emotional connections are made amongst the group. So I'm going to stay spoiler free here and go to my rating system. I'm definitely going to give this a don't skip. I think this is a must-watch TV show. I think this is an eye-opening TV show. I think this is a pretty incredible TV show. I really, really like this. I think this is great. I mean, well, not liked as in like, yeah, this is awesome. Liked as in, okay, this is emotional, this is deep, thought-provoking, heartbreaking, all of those sorts of feelings. And I've kind of realised as I've gotten, well, a bit older, but still young, 26, just for those of you that don't know. I sometimes just prefer shows that hit you like this with emotion and things that leave you thinking and things that leave you things that leave you with deep, thought-provoking thoughts and put you in a kind of emotional state. And it's not something I always require from every single TV show, but when I look at Stateless, and I also think about Unbelievable from last year. Now I don't think this is as good as Unbelievable. I think Unbelievable is still Netflix's best show. But it's got that feeling to it. The limited series based on true events, really emotional, really deep, really thought-provoking. And sometimes it's better when a show does that to you, because let's kind of be honest, like when a show does this sort of stuff and bases itself off of something that's, well, bad, I suppose, and it does things that you, well, not things that you don't like, but things that are going to hit you emotionally, things that you don't like, both from happy and sad emotions. So like when a character succeeds in an emotional way or a character fails in a dramatic way, sometimes it's better if a show does do that to you, because sometimes it leaves you in a state where it makes a show more memorable. And at the end of the day, when we're watching TV shows, sometimes we want to watch something a bit mindless. I understand that. Sometimes you want to switch your brain off a little bit. You might want to watch an action flick or something like that, or something similar. So not necessarily with every single thing that you watch you're going to want to feel this, but sometimes when you go into a show and you want the best from something, and you want something that's going to stick with you, something that's going to stay with you for a while, something that's going to make you think. It's almost better if a show does hit you in that way, because ultimately when you're going into a show that you want to feel something from, if you do, and something stays with you for a while, and it makes you think about life in a way that you didn't think about before, or a particular situation, like government mandatory detention centres and programs and that, and it changes your perspective maybe, that's a really good thing, because then it means the show's done its job. If you watch something like Unbelievable or Stateless or any other any other sort of show like that that's supposed to really hit you, and you come away from it and you go, oh, that was cool, then the show hasn't done its job. And both with this and with Unbelievable, they do the job that they set out to do, at least in my opinion. This is my review, so I can only speak to my opinion. So yeah, don't skip. I definitely think this is something worth watching. It will only take you 8 episodes. Those 8 episodes feel quite precious as you're going through. So yeah, it's, I mean, I won't go into spoilers here, but there's certain characters that do get their freedom. There's some that don't. I'm not going to say who, because that is spoiler territory, but you know, when it comes to these sorts of detention centres, and you've got people who just want freedom, they're waiting for their visa, or they're waiting for their next appointment to speak to somebody about, can they get to this country, are they going to be deported, what's going to kind of happen to them, and they're looked as if they're sort of, you know, illegal immigrants and that sort of thing, depending on which person or character you're talking about, obviously. But some people are more, you know, a threat than others. But yeah, for this show and the way it kind of looks at those sorts of people, and there's two things that really kind of struck me about this show. One of which is certainly the emphasis and the theme of freedom and what that means, and when you're really kind of down and out and you do have nothing, and I mean nothing, and yeah, just how that can kind of hit a person and what that can do to a person. It's said here in the synopsis about like the brink of sanity and what that does to people's sanity, and what they're willing to do to survive, and what they're willing to do to get through things. It's quite incredible what this show manages to do in terms of pulling that off. I mean, there's things like characters and people in the show, or characters in the show obviously, that, like, you know, their visas fail and these guards have to go, because it's, you know, if something's in the legal system and you're legally obligated to be deported and there's nothing else that you can do, then that's just the situation. And there's certain things of, like, you know, people getting pulled out of their beds in the middle of the night to get deported at like 4:30 in the morning or whatever, and they don't have a choice, and it's heartbreaking. And it's just, yeah, the way the show manages to pull that off, I think, is really incredible. So let's take a quick break and get into some housekeeping. See you for that in a minute.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Donnie, and I host the Adulting with Donnie podcast. And this is not the show to listen to if you're trying to be a better adult. I started this podcast as a way to offload some thoughts that I have throughout the week. My topics vary widely every week. Movies I've seen, guns and gun control, sex, people that are stupid, why I don't care about celebrity opinions, TV shows, snowmobiling. The list goes on and on. I'm always taking topic suggestions from fans of the show too. So join me each week on Adulting with Donnie as I pour some bourbon and allow you to see the inner workings of the mind of a madman. Live free and rant hard.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are Killer Fun. We explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week.
For as long as people have been communicating, they have been talking about who did what to whom, and is that socially acceptable?
Because the boundaries of society,
crime,
and entertainment have always gone hand in hand.
The more salacious,
or weird,
the better. From books and movies
to television shows and games,
we look at how life and art imitate and inform one another.
And we can't get together and not laugh. So let's face it, there's going to be laughing.
Killer Fun is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so join us.
Today's sponsor is Kualu. If you'd like to get started with a domain name and a website today, just click on the link in the show notes and that will take you over to Kualu to get started. They also have a live support chat system that you can use, which is in the bottom right hand corner. So get started with a new website and domain name today with Kualu. Hey everybody, if you would like to get the ad-free versions of all of our podcasts and support Entertainment Talk along the way, all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/entertainment talk. Sign up either as a creator or as a Patreon, there's no difference there. That's just the option for either becoming a creator now or just staying as a patron for the moment. And then all you need to do is support us at the $1 level tier. That will get you access to all of the ad-free podcasts that we've done in the past, and get you access to all the ad-free podcasts in that month as well. So it's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also become a patron at the $3 level tier. That gets you access to ad-free podcasts and allows you to redeem a review of a TV show or a film of entirely your choice. That's one per month for either a TV show or a film review, which is at the $3 level tier. As always, thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. Alright, recently on Entertainment Talk, as when this podcast is getting uploaded, I'm also doing a podcast for the first season of Cursed, which is also on Netflix. That is a Netflix original. So look out for the season 1 spoiler-free review of that. That's the Catherine Langford Netflix TV show. But other things that have happened recently, Manchester United drew 1-1 at home with West Ham. There is one game left in the Premier League season, which will be played on Sunday, so we'll be talking about that later in the week, or on Sunday as well, so have a look out for that. But tonight I talked about Man United's 1-1 draw at home to West Ham in the Premier League. Let's scroll down a bit. Also another Classic Reviews episode released today, or as of Wednesday. Season 4 episode 7 of Season 4 of Classic Reviews of the Jim Carrey season. This is for The Cable Guy, which is one of Jim Carrey's most underrated films that he's done, so you can have a look out for that as well. Scroll past a couple of United Cast episodes just for previous games. Last week's episode for Classic Reviews was Season 4 Episode 6 for Dumb and Dumber, one of Jim Carrey's more known roles, so I did a podcast on that. TV Talk for last week, we did a pilot watch style episode. Robert gave me a show to watch and I gave him one to watch. Robert gave me a show called The King's Avatar to watch, which at least for the US and the UK is available on Netflix, and Unbelievable, which I've talked about in this very podcast already, is available on Netflix, and I'd highly recommend you go and watch Unbelievable. Incredible show. So have a look out for that. Last week on Gaming Talk, we talked about Ubisoft's Forward events. They showed off some games. It was somewhat disappointing and somewhat also good as well. We talked about it on the podcast. We also talked about Microsoft's Flight Simulator as well, so you can listen to that. And we talked about the Crash Bandicoot mobile game, so you can have a listen to that. We'll be doing a new episode, by the way. We'll be doing a new Gaming Talk episode, by the way, tomorrow, which will include coverage of the Xbox Games Showcase, which is tomorrow as well. So have a look out for that. I did a podcast called The Power of Naughty Dog, talking about their success, such as games like Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, and the Last of Us series as well, so you can have a look out for that. I also did a tie-in episode of Let's Play Sundays, which is for Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3, and for Last of Us 2, that's Let's Play Sundays episode 50. So you can look out for that. And that's everything that we've been doing on entertainmenttalk.org and on podcast platforms. Let's go to... so I want to talk about... let me see if I can find it here. Release. So this isn't quite a Netflix original. Well, it basically is. So Stateless had its world premiere at the 70th Berlin International Film Festival. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is. In the new series section, along with Mystery Road Series 2, which I've never heard of. The Australian television channel ABC, which I mentioned at the start of the podcast, premiered the series in Australia soon afterwards. Netflix will release the series globally, so it will be available Netflix globally. So it's sort of like ABC got like first rights in some sort of way, but the show is available on Netflix globally. Quite an interesting situation there, I think. So yeah, that was good as well. So you can go and watch it on Netflix, of course. Let's get into the cast. So one of the biggest cast members to me, she was in 24. She's also in The Handmaid's Tale. Yvonne Strahovski, she plays as Sophie Werner. She's basically the main character for the series. So she does a really good job in this as well. She's kind of done some interesting stuff with her career. Like I said, she played as Kate in the limited run of the limited series version of 24 Live Another Day, which was 6 years ago. Still waiting for that to come back, hopefully one day. But she played as the main character, Sophie, so that was pretty cool. She's currently playing as one of the characters on The Handmaid's Tale. I can't remember exactly the name of the character, but she's doing that. I really like her as an actress, and she's one of the things that pulled me into the series. I heard about, like, basically what I kind of heard was, like, okay, she's playing this character called Sophie, and she gets kind of, it's mentioned here at the top, unlawfully sort of detained in this Australian detention centre. So that kind of pulled me in, and, like, I haven't seen Yvonne on anything other than Handmaid's Tale for the last couple of years. She was on 24 like 6 years ago in 2014, which, gosh, that seems like such a long time ago. She was on Chuck and on Dexter, I think, as well, but I haven't seen either of those. I think I saw the first 2 episodes of Dexter. I don't remember her being in those episodes, but I watched that a long time ago, so if she was in those 2 episodes, I just forgot. So but she's growing to be, she's kind of one of my favourite actors that I don't see very often. I see her in, like 13 episodes of Handmaid's Tale once a year. She was on 24 6 years ago, and then she's in this little kind of limited series on Netflix. So I kind of hope that she gets a bit more work in that. I know that she did do, she voiced, I think it was Batwoman. I don't think it was Batgirl. It was Batwoman on one of the DCAU Batman films. I can't remember which one. I think it was Batman Bad Blood. I think it was that. But yeah, she's an actress I'd like to see a lot more of. But at the moment, she's kind of tied down with Handmaid's Tale. So which is surely going to end in the next couple of seasons. So I mean, I definitely, in terms of Yvonne Strahovski, I definitely go for a Kate 24 spin-off if the show ever comes back at all. So there's that. And then there's a bunch of other characters, like you've seen in this synopsis. There's some other characters. There's this one, the family that are the refugees, one of the Afghan refugees. That was a really interesting kind of plot line there as well. And yeah, even some of the smaller characters whose like names kind of like escape me a little bit. Some of the sort of smaller characters, you kind of, when it gets to this detention center and you kind of see what state everyone's in and how it's kind of affecting their humanity and what it means in terms of freedom and all that, you kind of want like anyone to get a visa here, or I don't know if it's definitely like a visa every single time, but you kind of want them to just get freedom, just because of how bad this place is, how badly it's kind of run and everything, and it's not a great place to be, and you kind of look at the place that they're in, and there's nothing there for them, and it's this sad situation of like, okay, these people are sort of, it's basically like it is sort of a prison in a way, isn't it? Because they're in these little cells, they are locked in there, unless their doors let open, because they do get allowed to go out in the yard or whatever they kind of call it. So it's sort of like this prison for people that like they don't even know what to do with half the time, because people's applications for different things get sort of rejected or take a long time and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's not a situation you'd want someone you'd like to be in or whatever. But it's one of them kinds of situations where you look at some of the smaller characters in the show, and you look at some of the background characters, and you kind of think like, any scene where any character gets told like, okay, you can leave this place and go to the country that you want to go to, that's freedom for them, given like how this place is kind of run, and not just in terms of the people that are kept there, but the people that work there as well. Claire Folwitz, she's I think she's like the boss of this place or whatever. And as the season kind of goes on, you see sort of what it does to her, and yeah, it's just it's madness. It's you kind of look at a situation like this and a place like this, and I know there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world at the moment, but you kind of think like, how is the world so disorganized to where people just kind of get dumped here? Because this is sort of a place where like people that get, you know, caught in their own country, or that they're trying to like hire boats or whatever just to swim away to certain places and that sort of thing, or they're getting told that like they're gonna be put on this bus and then they get left in the middle of nowhere. Because yeah, that's just what I mean in terms of like humanity and freedom of like, if you're in one of these kind of countries or one of these like areas and you don't manage to get yourself to this place, as it's kind of displayed in this show with some of these characters, they're really left with nothing in certain situations, like no food, no water, sorry, no like shelter, no medicine, and you just kind of wonder like, okay, there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world, and this is one of the bad things going on in the world. And you just think like, how has the world got to such a situation to where this is a thing? Because like, yeah, you are kind of, you know, if you're lost in the middle of one of these, well, I'll just use Australia for the example because this is where it's based. If you're like left in this Australian desert that's near this place, and you've got no food, no water, no shelter, no medicine, you've got nothing on you. The next step up would be to be in this place, but it's still such a horrible place because even if you've got no freedom when you're outside this place, and then you get you get found or whatever, and you get put in here as an asylum seeker or a refugee or whatever, and you apply to be put to a certain country like your home country or somewhere where you'd prefer to go or whatever, you might just end up getting deported to an awful country. And that's just, it's so heartbreaking when you kind of see it in this series. And I'm trying to slyly allude to certain things that you know, to avoid spoilers and that, but for those of you that have seen the show, you kind of would know what I've been alluding to with certain things. It's just yeah, just like the way certain people are just pulled out of their I'll call them cells because I don't know what else to call them. They're just pulled out of their cells and told like, okay, you're gonna go to this country and you've got no choice and there's nothing you can do, and yeah, you might die in that country, you might get tortured in that country. Certain characters even say that throughout the series of like, okay, if you deport me to this country, so and so is gonna find me, they are gonna torture me and they are gonna kill me, and it is apparently legal that's just the place that they're going to end up in, and it's just crazy. So it's definitely been an eye-opener for me as well. I knew this was obviously a situation in the world, but I think that this series kind of has opened my eyes up to just kind of how bad it is. And I know it's not a documentary in the series, but I kind of feel at this point like if someone released a documentary for this type of thing, well, there probably already is documentaries out there for it. I don't need to really watch those types of things, because even from this scripted limited television series, I get it kind of. I mean, I don't get obviously what it's like to be there, but I get the situation and how bad it is. You really are kind of talking life and death with some of these things, and it's heartbreaking. So, but on a positive note, the show's very, very good. So although there's a lot of heartbreaking stuff in here, there's some thought-provoking stuff in here. I mean, like I said, if you watch something like Unbelievable or Stateless here, and you come away and you don't really think about the show, or at least think about like some of the themes in here or some of the things that have been shown, I don't quite know what to tell you necessarily. But yeah, I mean, I think I've gone on kind of long enough here. So yeah, I like the series. I'll probably give it a 10 out of 10. I don't think it really did anything wrong. So I thought it was good as well. So it's definitely one I recommend. But if you're in a mood where you're going to switch on your TV and you're going to go, okay, I want to watch something that's going to make me feel good and feel really happy and entertain me, you might want to wait until you're in a different mood to watch this, because this isn't a show. It's going to entertain you because it's good, but it's not going to make you feel happy, and it's not going to uplift you or whatever. So when you're in the mood for something that's make something that makes you want to think, or makes you want to open your eye up to this particular type of situation, that's when I'd recommend you watch this show. But you can obviously watch whatever you want to anyway. So that's that. So yeah, lots to digest and dissect there, of course. But if you've seen the series, or you haven't, or you're halfway through, or whatever the situation may be, let me know what you think. Matthew at entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter eTalkUK. There's a contact page and information in your show notes. So have a look out for those, and let me know what you think of the series, and also what you think of Yvonne Strahovski. Do you like her as an actress? Have you seen 24 Live Another Day? Do you want it to come back as badly as what I do? Have you seen The Handmaid's Tale? What do you think of her in that? What do you think of her in this? And yeah, all that sort of stuff. Let me know what you think. But that is that. So in the meantime, you can find everything that we've got on entertainmenttalk.org. Lots of stuff happening over there. Classic reviews, gaming talk podcasts, main night of podcasts, and other things as well. So have a look out for all that. We are on Patreon. You can have a look at the $1 and $3 level tiers for review options and ad-free podcast options as well. So have a look out for those. iTunes, we are on iTunes. You can rate, review and subscribe to us on there. Just search for Entertainment Talk. You can also search for Geek Town. That will get you the Geek Town radio episodes. That's of course from David for your weekly TV and film news, your up-to-date and reliable TV and film news, which you can also find on geektown.co.uk. If you want to check out other people as well, Bex is streaming fairly regularly on Twitch every day basically at the moment. So if you want to subscribe to her, follow her. Trista Bytes, that's Trista, Bytes, so go and have a look out for her on there. Barry is doing horror podcasts over on Talk and Stalk, that's on YouTube, so have a look out for those, for your horror podcast and all those sorts of things. Social media, you can of course use word of mouth as well. You can let people know about the website and your iTunes feed. Social media, share them on Facebook and Twitter, and if you can, put them in different Facebook groups. Streaming, I'm also streaming at the moment, Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, so have a look out for those streams as well. That's on my Twitch channel. David streams on Twitch sometimes as well, and also look out for Let's Play Sundays, which is on a hiatus at the moment, but there is 50 episodes that you can look out for as well. So there is that. I think that's everything, so thank you all very much for listening, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.